Okay, so the other day I was laying down with my mom and we were kind of talking about education and like medication and ADHD and everything, and we were kind of going off about how we felt. And my mom remembered that she heard a story when she was little about this like 10-year-old girl. And yeah, it was about this girl, and she had a lot of problems in high school, and her teacher always was like mad at her. She was like a troublemaker or whatever. And what happened is the teacher called in her mom so they could have like a meeting, and he told her mom that she had like really bad problems with school and studying and getting her homework done. And yeah, they talked, and then she went to a counselor, and they had a couple meetings and stuff. And what happened was the mom came in one day, and he said she doesn't have a problem with education, she doesn't have a problem with learning, she's just a dancer, right? And so they both stepped out and they left a little music box in there, and they walked out and he said, "Look at this." And they played the music, she started tapping her feet, she started dancing, she started spinning everywhere, and the mom took her child to a dance class, and it was full of people just like her, people who couldn't concentrate, people who had to learn by moving, by dancing or whatever. And she ended up going to the Royal Ballet School, had a great career, was amazing. And maybe, back then there was no such thing as like ADHD, and maybe if that would have happened now, she would have just been put on medication and be told to calm down. I think that is insane. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about education. I'm going to be giving like some problems and what I can do, what we could do to improve it. It's a very hard topic and very complicated, and has so many aspects of like why it's so hard and why we haven't done anything yet. So how education started, it was back like in the 20th century. What happened is they invented this educational model based on a factory, and they wanted to create these factory workers, so they would sit them down in these classes and they would feed them information and whatever, and it was basically what we're in now. There was bells, they were separated by classes, they had tags, they were separated by age groups or whatever, and it was all like that. And about 50 years ago, why people went to school and why people were educated was for a reason. It was for you would be hardworking, you would work as hard as you can, you would do all your homework to be able to get good grades and to be able to get a high school diploma, right? And you would get that high school diploma to be able to go to college, and you would do work in college, do whatever you had to do, get good grades in college, graduate to be able to get a job, a guaranteed job basically. And now we as teenagers, as kids, we don't really believe in that. We have a reason not to believe in that, because now after you graduate, there's so many different things. There's masters, there's PhDs, there's whatever. There's so many different aspects that you have to do, loads and loads and loads of work to be able to get a job, to be able to get money. And I think this is terrible, because if the path to to have money, to be able to support your family, is leaving behind what you love most and what you like work hard to. And I think it's terrible how much of loads of work and how parents force you into getting good grades to be able to get money, and they just totally rip off the reason you want to live, the reason, I don't know, whatever you love to do, you know. And I think that is really bad, and that's why I don't really agree with school. And one of the main problems with schools right now is that there's too many kids. And there's not really enough teachers, and you can't pay attention to every single kid, because it just doesn't work like that. You can't have one teacher to be able to be 100% on 30 kids, each one paying attention to each one and working how he works, you know, because people are different and they learn differently, so they need different ways of learning, and teachers can't change every day to be able to fit that certain person. And that's why, that's one of the main problems. And a solution to that would be to be able, if we had more money, we would be able to have different types of schools where you could have one teacher responsible of 5 kids, and that would be the perfect ratio to be able to pay attention to each kid and to give them the information they need to follow their path to what they want to do. My second point or problem is that schools right now, ever since we start school, they're kind of destroying our creativity, and they're making us not really want to learn. That's why we wake up every morning and we're like, dang, we have school again, you know? And I think it shouldn't be like that. I feel like education should be empowering, exciting, and something you really want to do. And ever since we're like really little, all our questions don't matter. All the things that we actually want to know are just taken away from us. And that's something that shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't be given information. Teachers should be answering our questions. And another huge thing that I saw yesterday was I was looking up like different reasons why education was so bad. And one of the main things that stood out to me was how much we change over the course of, I don't know, 12 years in school. When we are about to take school, we are super creative, we want to learn, we want to do all these things, and they did a test about 10 years ago where they had this test, and it said, showed a paper clip, right? And they said, fill out as many ways as you could use this paper clip, like to unlock a door, to put your hair in a ponytail, whatever. And when you're a little kid, they would put, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 different things, like crazy stuff, like could the paperclip be made out of foam or whatever. And they made a percentage chart, and as the kid grew older, you would expect him to do better because he's learned more and he has more experience and more knowledge and more, your brain should be more developed. Well, it's totally the contrary. When they were 6 to when they were 16 or our age, it just declined completely because we're totally stricken away from our creativity, and we're told that what we say is wrong, and it's not good. And then my last point, I'm going to talk about, oh no, sorry. Okay, for my solution to that problem of creativity and why public schools are so bad, is that there's so many people right now joining ideas and like thinking about what they could do better. And these people have created these private schools that suit the needs of the kids a lot better. For example, the Waldorf school. My mom teaches there as well. It's the school that focuses a lot more on the kids instead of the material, and it lets them do not whatever they want to do. It's the same thing, but more focused on the kid and what he wants to do in the future. And yeah, and for my last point, my conclusion is that, so the main problem is the money. We don't have enough money to be able to do anything. And I don't know. If we had enough money, maybe we could change education for the better. But it's so hard right now, and it's going to take a while. But I feel like if we start doing something about it right now, maybe we can change it in about 10 or 15 years. Thank you. Oh my